Kate Mashesky, Maddie Jenner in the draw control circle once again. This is the battle, and it has been all day to look out for. And a false start. Mashesky jumped early, and Maddie Jenner strikes first in the third.
There's also been a number of those violations so far today. I believe that's the third. So simple mistakes when you could have the advantage, it gets taken away almost immediately because of the whistle.
So Kimber Hauer is in the back of the net for Syracuse. Started off with a lot of struggles, but calmed down and actually turned a lot of defensive stops into offense in the second quarter. But this is the first time that we're seeing for Syracuse the same goalie in the first half and in the second. It's been Delaney Schweitzer splitting time with Hauer. Both transfers. Schweitzer from USC and Kimber Hauer from UNC. Best offense in the nation, about 22 goals per game for Duke. Landry had one of them and gives the keys to X. It's DeSimone finding Barry.
And with another high-powered half, they could make above their season average. Doubling up would be 24, which is an absurd number to hit the number 3 team in the nation.
Carter lost possession. Jenner nearly scooped it up, channeling her in her draw control with the ball popped up. It's still loose inside the 8, and Syracuse takes it. Bianca Chevry gets it over to Kimber Hauer. That might be the best defensive stand we've seen from Syracuse all day.
It was a lot of communication that went into that because the ball just kept moving. Jenner came in on and was much taller than Goodale and tried to use her height and physicality, and it didn't work out there. Able to get it over to Schweitzer, or Hauer rather, and Hauer able to escape a potentially terrible situation.
And Syracuse gets it over here. That might be where they miss Asa Goldstock from last season. She was really strong coming out of the crease and helping out with the clear. So far it has not bitten Syracuse in this game, but it has early on in the season with turnovers actually a problem for the goalie unit. Not just Kimber Hauer, but Delaney Schweitzer as well. So Syracuse surged in the second quarter in their offense. Emma Tyrell had 2 goals. Emily Harrischuk had one towards the end of the second quarter. And here's Tyrell finding Harrischuk, muscling inside, and the bouncer doesn't go. It's saved by Sophia LaRose.
It ended up being a little bit more of a roller than a bouncer, and that's why I just didn't have enough on it, and that's why I didn't go in the back of the cage.
Tyrell back to Harrischuk. Oh, point blank, that's too easy. Megan Tyrell, there she is, her first goal of the day, and Syracuse is sticking around.
And it was all about patience. They ran a similar play with Emily Harrischuk right at the doorstep, but instead of taking the shot, this time she goes to goal line extended, finds her teammate Megan Tyrell. The two are 1-2 in goals scored this season to lead the team.
So just as the second quarter started, just as the first started, Syracuse wasting no time. And Megan Tyrell, that's just her second point of the day. Her first goal had an assist earlier on an Emma Tyrell goal. And Megan is tied for 8th all-time Syracuse goal list, and that is a decorated list. She's still chasing Emily Harrischuk, but Megan Tyrell solidifying herself as an SU legend. The Orange, since it was a 4-1 game for Duke with 4 unanswered goals off the top, they have not been closer than 3. Emma Tyrell to Sam Swore, quick stick pass, oh my goodness! Deja vu, Megan Tyrell! 2 goals in a matter of 9 seconds for Tyrell. Syracuse 18, Pittsburgh 11, Buddy Boeheim is inbounding from beneath his own basket after the foul before the break. So Buddy gets it in on a bounce pass to his older brother Jimmy. Stutter step on the baseline, nearly traveled. Kick out near corner three. Cole Swider missed it short, and the rebound taken down at the apex. Mo Gee swallows it up. He's had a great game. 4 points, now 5 rebounds for the transfer from Stony Brook. 7:15 left in half number one. Gee controls 25 feet from the basket. Pocket pass in intended for Hughley. He's been very quiet. Instead, it's swiped away by Cole Swider for Syracuse. A 7-point lead. Here comes Swider. Baseline drive. Stops, and the layup is no good. Way wide left, but he was swarmed and decked in midair. So, Swider, the Villanova transfer, going to the strike for 2.
That's when Pitt has been successful, is when they quickly double teamed and kind of swarmed and put pressure. Syracuse doesn't do good in pressure. So whenever they, 2 players come up, that's when they've been able to create some momentum that has converted on the offense.
Swider misses the first free throw, and John Bull Ajak checking in for Syracuse from the Sudan. And Ajak, a redshirt sophomore, 6'10", 216, as Swider hits the second free throw, 1 of 2. 19-11, Syracuse leads. John Bull Ajak hasn't played since 2 weeks ago against Pittsburgh. He came off the bench in the first half, and Jim Boeheim says that Ajak has actually been the best reserve forward in practice. Jamarius Burton lines up the 3 straight away, hits the back iron. Who else to get the rebound? Mo Gee to revive the possession. That's rebound number 6. 6.5 minutes left in the first half.
And 6 is halfway to his season high, so we still got a lot of game to play here. 6 minutes left in this half, and then, get a whole other 20. So lots to maybe surpass that today.
Ezzy Akuta's bounce pass was trying to find Hughley. Instead, he found Cole Swider, his second consecutive steal. Buddy Boeheim, baseline drive on the far side. The push shot from 8 feet out is true. Syracuse 21 and Pittsburgh 11, just over 6 minutes left in the first half. Interesting to see John Bull Ajak as the first man off the bench besides Frank Anselm, but the bench is going to look a little different tonight with Symir Torrens out with a knee injury. He's typically that first guy as a backup guard.
I was thinking the same exact thing. Maybe, we knew that something would be different because of the Torrens absence, but I don't know if it was John Bull Ajak is where we were going to look to, especially because they're 2 different players, 2 different types of style of play.
The far wing 3 by Jamarius Burton was short. The rebound went to Hughley. The putback didn't go the first time or the second time. Not the third time either, but on the third time, he got fouled. And so John Hughley is going to the free throw line for the 3rd time today. The foul against John Bull Ajak, his first, and Syracuse's 3rd. Hughley hits the first free throw. And he is 3 for 5 from the stripe. He only has 3 points. He's 0 for 6 from the field, and that is very reminiscent of his performance in the first game of this matchup 2 weeks ago. Just 8 points, 1 field goal.
And a new look for Syracuse as Jesse Edwards and Jimmy Boeheim came in after the first free throw, and Swider and Anselm took a seat.
So the 5 on the floor for Syracuse: Gerard, Jimmy, and Buddy, both Boeheims, Jesse Edwards and John Bull Ajak. And Ezzy Akuta just strips Gerard, lays it in with the right in transition. It's a 6-point game. 5.5 minutes left in the Oakland Zoo student section on the far side. They're getting excited. Buddy Boeheim on the near wing tries to loop around the screen by Edwards. Kick out to the far corner. Joe Girard draws the double. And inside it's John Bull Ajak. His layup doesn't even count. It's an offensive foul with Joe Girard just charging into Mo Gee. He continues to impress on every side of the court.
That was an interesting call because I feel like usually when we see charges, they're super aggressive and it's a dramatic moment in the game. And it's, oh my goodness, and that was... It seemed like a common foul, a common little bump in. So maybe not as going to get this crowd going, a major charge, but still significant after they just picked the pocket of Joe Girard.
21-15, Syracuse lead, just about 5 minutes left in this exciting first half. You're listening to Syracuse men's basketball on the original home of the Orange, WAER. For the second consecutive game, Syracuse trailing at the half. Bit of a head scratcher here with Colgate leading by 3 at the break. Hello and welcome alongside the great Eric Diefendorf. I'm Brian Klein. This is the ACC Network Extra Halftime Report. Happy to be with you breaking down this really surprise here that Colgate came out of nowhere. Really slow start, 15-2 beginning for SU. But really, the Raiders, they figured it out down the way. You want some proof? Let's roll the highlights. Syracuse and Colgate. And again, it was the Orange controlling early and Cole Swider making something out of nothing here. The ball stops, Eric, and he just says, okay, I'll handle it myself.
Yeah, Cole Swider, he's a guy who can do more than just spot up shoot. He's a guy who can get it in the mid-post, use his body, and we see him there turn around and making a jump shot.
Joe Girard, too. He was accounting for 11 of the first 15 points for Syracuse. The lob to Edwards, the Flying Dutchman. And then Jack Ferguson with 14 minutes left in the half. He hits the triple. Syracuse up by 12. Bunny Boeheim and one on the next possession. But Colgate, they were sticking around. Oliver Lynch-Daniels, he hits the layup here. Nice pass at the high post. Colgate down by 7. And then a few minutes later, 4 minutes left, it's Benny Williams, the freshman. That's athleticism, Eric.
Absolutely, and we saw Syracuse get off to a fast start and then slow down a little bit, and Colgate gaining some momentum. We knew we were going to see it from Colgate, being an experienced team, being a slow start, but they settled in and started to hit some jumpers, and that's why they're up at the end of the first half.
In the waning minutes, these two teams, they were trading threes. Buddy Boeheim and Nelly Cummings, he picked it up at the end. This Sunday, an estimated $8 billion will be wagered on the Super Bowl. That's more than the annual revenue of the NBA and nearly as much as the NFL.
There's so much because there's just so much action coming in and there's so many different props.
2/3 of the United States either have already or are in the process of legalizing sports gambling.
The problem is that when you get to the Super Bowl, you're taking in a ton of money from people who just are betting big money because it's the Super Bowl.
The rise in Super Bowl betting is thanks to these. More than 80% of the action is online. So for the novice bettors out there, it's really never been easier to get some skin in the game, but try not to overcomplicate things. That could cost you.
I wouldn't really go in looking at stats or listening to anybody on TV in particular, and all that's going on for 2 weeks. Just kind of, obviously, you don't, like, for the novice bettor, they're not looking at the number, handicapping it. They're just kind of, they like a team, they're going to bet them. In my opinion, like, the best case scenario on winning something like that is just kind of going with your guts.
Regardless of who you talk to, the best advice ahead of the big game is to bet responsibly, nothing out of budget, but still have a good time. And if football's not your game, that's okay. You can bet on pretty much anything. That includes the color of the Gatorade. For Citrus TV, I'm Brian Klein. Mississippi State transfer quarterback Garrett Schrader found out he was making his first start in Orange just 2 hours before the game. And while he did lead SU to a 24-21 win over Liberty, the aerial attack was non-existent. Head coach Dino Baber said he had to keep the offense simple. Just control the ground game, right foot in front of left. But an abbreviated offense going forward means there might be more to work on than celebrate.
We need to throw the ball better. I mean, I'm not going to, in dealing with quarterbacks and dealing with offenses and dealing with football teams, you have to have certain standards, and the standards can't change, and you can't settle for things.
I just got to make those throws. I mean, I got to go watch them and see exactly what happened. For some of them, it felt like I was waiting a little bit long, and it's always hard to replicate exactly how it's going to be in the game, but, I mean, my answer is I got to make them.
The team that we were playing this week, we really felt that there was certain things that we could take advantage of with Garrett Schrader's legs. Okay, we can't guarantee that we're going to be able to do what we did tonight versus some other opponents that are on our schedule.
It's no secret the offense was pretty simple under Garrett Schrader, but that's okay. The job at hand became even simpler late in the fourth quarter here at the 30-yard line when the defense strip sacked projected top 10 pick Malik Willis. And at that point for Schrader, the job at hand was just hold on to the football and set up Andre Schmidt for the 35-yard winner. Now, Schrader is slated to start against Florida State next week, but Baber says anything is possible with Tommy DeVito lurking in the shadows on the sideline. For Citrus TV, I'm Brad Klein.